Hey friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. We are working on going live in a few different places, so uh, Lena's got it figured out. We just survived day. What day was it?
One. Uno.
One. We just survived day one of distance learning, and
Yay.
we did it. So I teach fifth grade in Michigan, and Alaina teaches.
I teach 9th through 12th grade in Parma, Michigan, Western High School.
Yeah, and so we're in the same district,
Science.
and we didn't really know what to expect. Did you know what to expect?
For day one
Yeah,
or for
for
distance
day
learning?
one, just day one.
I would rate today's amount of work and stress about 20 times higher than what I anticipated it being today.
It was so much harder than just being at school.
Yeah, and that's weird
thought.
because school is hard.
School's hard, and school is intense, and school is busy, and today was next level. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that we had 4 kids that we were trying to teach, and a 5th kid that we were trying to prevent from destroying the world.
Yeah, we also had 3 kids in tears
During distance learning.
During
First
remote
20
learning
minutes,
the first
remote
day,
learning,
which I was not
yeah.
expecting at all. Our kids are pretty roll with the punches kind of kids. We do a lot of crazy. We go a lot of places. We do a lot of things. And our kids are very good at taking things in stride. And so the tears were an unexpected layer of complexity to deal with today.
Yeah. Probably had something to do with our stress. I think I was a little stressed and maybe not as patient as I could have been at the beginning of the day.
I would agree with that assessment.
So, yeah, we have an 8th grader. We have a
Nope,
we
7th.
have a seventh
There you go.
grader. We have a 6th grader, a 4th grader, and young 5s. And we pretty much punted young 5s today.
I tried to squeeze a little bit in at dinner.
Oh yeah, you did. So we tried
we
to
were
do a
supposed
little
to
at
find
dinner.
things that start with letters of the alphabet. So when I realized at dinner that we had done none of that, we worked it into dinner a little bit. And what I also did was I took my 6th grader. I didn't let Colby finish. We have a 7th grader, a 6th grader, a 4th grader, and a young 5s.
Just like early kindergarten, young kindergarten kids.
All remote learning today. And it was like today was kind of our district's, I would call it like a soft opening. So ramping up for next week when things get real.
Things get real.
Yeah. And our soft start was not a 5-star Yelp review. So but that was on our kids and us as parents, not a reflection of the teachers at all. So we've got some things to work out, but we realized that our 6th grader may be able to, we're going to maybe pay her as a tutor
Can we write
to
that
help
our
with
taxes?
our young 5s, because she was able to complete everything for the whole week during our designated time from 9 to 10. So she's free and clear the rest of the week, and hopefully she'll be able to be our young 5s tutor.
I noticed that our 4th grader wanted to do everything for the whole week today. She was busting out the math.
Yeah. Well, there was also some tears there.
Yeah.
So. But I think it certainly helped us be sympathetic and empathetic to all of the parents out there.
I got lots of parent emails today
trying to navigate.
We're trying, and I was like, listen, it is crazy here. So like, don't even sweat it. Like, if you didn't get logged in, if you didn't do anything today, and y'all just survived and stayed home and stayed safe, that is okay. We will get there. Take a deep breath. We got this.
Yep. So, yeah. So 3 out of 5 kids cried. We didn't cry, so that was good. But it was crazy.
I had a teary moment.
Yeah, I had some teary moments too. You didn't tell me about your teary moment.
So I guess I can share. It's part of what I did in my class. So for my class, I really wanted to make sure that they could get logged into things. So I thought I would use Seesaw and Flipgrid and Google Classroom to kind of drive things. But I'm starting to think that maybe just Google Classroom and just Flipgrid, just cutting it down to those 2 might be where we go. So today, all I had them do was get into Google Classroom And I had a flip grid there for them to just kind of share how reading has been going since we had left school. And one of my students, one of this sweet girl in my class who is just so even keel and calm and happy and just totally chill. She got pretty choked up, and she was saying that about telling about the book she's reading, and how when she's done with it, how she wishes she could just go over to the shelf in our classroom library and get the next book in the series, and how she just doesn't know what she's going to do, and how she misses everyone, and she just wants to be at school. It made me so sad. Like, I can get the book to her, I can figure out a way to do that, but I can't replace that community piece that we have lost.
Yeah.
That we're trying to regain in a different way. So that choked me up. I didn't expect that from her. She just kind of rolls with everything, but to just see her visibly kind of shook and so sad, it was hard. But 29, I think I have two sections of class. I think I have 55 kids total. 29 got in and got it done. 7 or 8 more were working with the parents. They just didn't get to it today. Respect. And then 2 were working on trying to find ways to get them devices, and it looks like we found a way. So progress.
Yay!
We'll take it.
Yay!
I also recorded a writing lesson video that's going to go out later this week. I'm really excited. My principal bought me this overhead thing that will hold like my phone, so I can put my phone in this contraption and it will film down, and I can have my notebook there and just write in my notebook. So it was really fun to do that. So
and I would like to borrow it.
It's set up downstairs.
For chemistry lessons.
Yeah, so making the most of it. We're going to start our daily Zoom calls, which we are going to do starting Thursday, and then we'll do one every day is the goal the rest of the school year, just to kind of connect. But overall, a pretty good day. It was so fun. I gave them all like a little video response, and I miss them though. I miss them more, seeing their faces and seeing them talk and hear about their reading, and how they just kept saying it's not the same, and it made my heart a little sad. Like, proud of what we built at Parma and in our classrooms, but also a little sad that just to hear the hurt in their voices.
Yeah, I think that's been the theme through all of this. None of us are talking about how much we miss teaching ionic bonding. We're talking about how much we miss our kids, and that's really why we became teachers, and all of the good stuff about teaching is kind of gone. We have to, not just naturally gone. We can go about it creatively to connect, but that part that we all really love about it's irreplaceable.
It's different. Yeah. It's going to be different. So we
talked about that last week though.
I am so impressed by the work that the high school teachers have done. And you have been a part of this team that has created this model of learning. And I'm just so basically, I can't imagine how hard it would be to be a high school teacher right now, or how hard it would be to be a high school
student.
Yeah,
let's back up. Let's talk about how hard it would be to be a high school student right now.
And have 6 or 7 or 5 classes, and all of these are 6 or 7 or 5, and have all of these assignments, and have all of these things that you have to do. And your teachers are doing Zoom meetings, but like math with Mr. Conrad is 8:45 to 9:15. You're like, I don't even know 8:45. Like, the 8s are not even in my vocabulary anymore. I'm a high school junior. Like, why are we waking up that early? And then English is Skyping at like 8:30, so you have like 2 Zooms or Skypes at the same time, and then all these teachers are trying to finagle all of these things to try to do what's best for kids. You have all of these assignments, which is hard enough when you're at school 7.5 hours a day. So you all at the high school have said, no, that's not possible. We can't possibly teach all of this stuff the way that we do, the way that we have done it. And you've created this amazing model and this amazing project. Can you share with our friends this amazing thing that your team has created for your high schoolers? I'm so excited. I wish that we had some high schoolers to watch them go through it themselves.
And I just want to back up, because this is all not based on what teachers wanted to do or how we wanted to do things, but coming from the angle of what's best for our students at this time, based on what do they have at home in terms of not only technology, but parental support, an obligation to younger family members that maybe they're trying, like we're trying to pay our daughter to help with our young fives guy. So maybe they're helping with all of that. Maybe they're just trying to make sure food is on the table. So we have a variety of high school students juggling a multitude of classes, and as a staff, I think most of us are motivated that we want school to look different for students. We want school to be a meaningful, deep, and enriching experience for students. And the way that we're currently teaching in this, not because of Western high school, but because of this society expectation that is high school, are kind of confined or log jammed into this way of doing things. I teach chemistry. I do it by presenting material, and I do it by giving labs and group work and activities and assignments, and I assess. And that's just how we do things. But we came to this, and what's really exciting about this is, what if this was our time to let students drive all of it? What if we took, as a science department, the 4 most important things that we wanted all Western high school students to leave Western high school being really excellent at in science: being curious, designing experiments, analyzing data, looking at results and experiments and things that are posted on Facebook critically. What if we took those 4 things that applied to any science student in any class at Western high school, and what if they could just design something that showed that they met those standards, or they knew how to do those things, or they were just progressing in their understanding of those things, because those are pretty big, meaty things. So what we asked is, every department, social studies, English, language arts, science, math, and then the electives as a whole, to come up with a menu. So that's five categories, to come up with a menu of 4 of these big, what do we want these students who leave Western high school to be really good at? And we're allowing students to demonstrate understanding in 10 of their choice through a project of their own design. And so we as teachers have switched hats from being, I'm no longer Mrs. Sharp, the chemistry teacher. I have become Mrs. Sharp, the academic advisor, to what we call our flex, which is like our homeroom or advisory period. So I am now responsible for those students, helping them come up with ideas for that project, helping them develop their ideas, helping them connect them to the standards that the departments have come up with. And then, like a merit badge system in the Boy Scouts, we're on these teacher teams where there's one of us from each of those 5 categories represented. And so we'll be looking at each other's students' projects and signing off on those standards. And it's completely pass or fail. So if a student has made an effort in one of those science benchmarks, I will be looking at their, even if they're not in my flex, but that teacher is on my team, I'll be taking a peek and I'll be like, yeah, you're close, but we need to dive into this part of it a little bit more. So why don't you go out and look for such and such to include in there? So it's completely student driven, based on their passions, their interests, anything at all. It could be a stop motion video, an anthology of poems, a photo gallery, a persuasive essay, a speech, a debate. It could be anything, or it could be multiple projects, and it could be about any topic, because what we're finding is that these broad standards are really conducive to almost anything, and we really want students to come away from this feeling like they are interested in something and they are passionate about something, or that they can do something about something in the world that breaks their heart, or that helps someone. And we are just so stoked, and it's really scary. We rolled it out today. So we have the video, the frequently asked questions, the trying to take this vague, amorphous idea and put it into words that are student and parent friendly. All that went down today. And I am so pumped.
Let's
and
go.
So pumped to see what they come up with, because they are beautiful, strong, brave, inspiring minds. And we have so like corralled them into only doing certain things. And here is an opportunity for them to dive deeply into something that they want, or even just that's real world, even if it's just debating, hey, the COVID vaccine comes out tomorrow, would you get it?
Yes.
I'm not asking you, but maybe their project is debating that, or coming up with a persuasive essay for that ticks off 5 or 6 of those standards.
Can you give an example of one of the standards or benchmarks? Maybe one of the science ones your team came up with?
Yeah. So one of ours in science is to create an experiment, a good experiment, and to talk about what makes that experiment good. So that brings into all, so they sound really simple at the surface level, but they're actually really complex. So when you think about like what a good experiment is, if you're going to do it with people, then you bring in things like placebo effect and double blind studies and the number of participants and over time having, anyways. So it sounds really simple, but it gets pretty complex. And so when they start looking at things like research shows, they can dive into, okay, but is that really a good study? Is that really good science? And that's just one of the 4 things. And all of the departments have chosen these. So ideally, these students are going to walk away with at least one of this thing that they've created to show off that they have deepened their knowledge. And so again, our goal is, at this point, and we had to talk about this, it's okay to mourn what we, as high school teachers especially, I think it's important to remember, like, I'm a chemistry teacher. I was super, super pumped about teaching ecology to my biology students. I was so excited. I was really excited to talk about organic chemistry with my seniors. And it's okay to mourn that, like, we're not going to be teaching that anymore this year. With the exception of if a student wanted to incorporate that into their project. And then I would be teaching them one-on-one, which is really beautiful, because then they have a purpose for learning that content. But I'm not going to be standing in front teaching these things that I really love to teach and that I usually teach at this time in the school year. So we can grieve that and be sad about it, but we can be excited about the fact that that we think during this time that this is what's best for our students, and it's going to give them the best chance to learn something meaningful, to stay engaged and motivated, and to be connected with us, their teachers, who care about them, and we care about their interests, and we care about what they want to know about, and what we can do with this time while we still do have some connection with them. So anyway, sorry, I talked for a long time there, but it all kind of went down today, and that's always a little nerve-wracking, but so far so good, knock on wood. And I'm really looking forward to starting to talk to my students, both the ones that I am responsible for in my flex and the ones who are maybe interested in doing like incorporating those science standards and helping them figure out how they can do that. So
I think that this is more what we want school to look like.
I know for me,
for our kids, as parents especially,
it's one of those things where, like, I wish my classroom could look like this, but they have to take a test. Well, we don't have to take a test. They don't have to take a test anymore, right? Or I would like it to look like this, but I'm being evaluated, but I have to produce data to show. I don't have to do those things anymore. So I have this opportunity, and kids always like, there's no like, they'll do it for me sometimes, I think, like, because they're either good at school or they know the game, or they like me enough to, like, just be compliant. But they don't want to learn about ionic bonding. Like, But if they're trying to make enough soap for the homeless people in their city, they're going to have to know how ionic bonding works. So then it has a purpose.
And they're going to have a lot of math.
Right.
In that. Yeah.
And it has a purpose. Like, I need to know about like this economics principle that I would have no idea about, but I'm sure that factors in, right? So all of these things that we would teach them anyways now have a purpose. And we're not going to cover everything. We're not going to jam it down their throats like we would have. But yeah, like, this is ideally how I would love for students to learn. But it just hasn't. We're very traditional 7-period class. I love my school, but like, that's just how we roll. 52 minutes a day, 7 classes a day, and we do what we can with that time. But I'm just so grateful for this opportunity, and I hope, and I know this is pie in the sky. I fully expect that we're gonna get, anytime any of you who are teachers out there, anytime you assign a project, this is what you get, right? Like 4 really good ones that are the ones that you take pictures of and put on Facebook or Twitter. And then you get like 15 to 18 that are adequate, right? And then you get some pure garbage, right? I fully expect that is going to happen. But I'm okay with that, because that's going to happen if I assign a worksheet or a virtual lab as well. But at least this way, I think there's potential for it to be really groundbreaking. And I think some of us as teachers, it's going to give some of us a little courage and bravery to inch that way in our classrooms next year.
It's going to be, I think, hard for a lot of the kids that are used to being told what to do.
Yeah, and we have a lot of structure built in, because we knew that. We knew our students are used to a lot of traditional, so that's why it wasn't just a like, woo! We've created a calendar, a weekly calendar, where we're trying to structure for them, like, look, week 2, you should be working on picking out 2 standards that you think are going to work into your project, and you should be talking to your flex teacher about how you think those are going to look, get feedback from your teacher, revise, and polish them up. And we are doing that for each week, so that we're calling this a soft deadline calendar. So if they're following this, then by the end, all 10 should have been met even before it's due. So we're trying to build some structure in there, because we know that our students are not accustomed to this, but none of us are accustomed to any of this. So
it's good
I am really excited.
I'm excited. What would you do a project on?
I keep thinking about that, because another thing that we've done, which I'm really proud of, is each department has brainstormed what we're calling starter pack ideas, which is where we as a department take what we think could be a really good center for our project. And because we know that topic really well, we can see lots of cross-curricular ties. So one of the ones we put forth as the science department, for example, was use X, whether that's a screencast, a persuasive essay, a children's book, or whatever, make a product that essentially compares and contrasts the COVID-19 pandemic to the Spanish flu of 1918. Because we see in there a lot of, right away, you've got some math with things like flattening the curve and exponential growth. You've got tons of history in there, obviously. If you're going to do any kind of product, ELA-wise, persuasive, compare, contrast, you've got elements of ELA. So each department did that so that they have some starter pack ideas, and then we're encouraging students to modify, change, make it a product. Instead of a podcast, you want to do a stop motion, cool. Or instead of the Spanish flu of 1918, you want to do this other, cool. Or to tweak it and make it their own. So we're not necessarily assigning it, we're just giving them examples of it. Or if they're totally like, I'm clueless, I don't really care, I haven't been able to come up with something, then they can just use one of those that looks interesting.
What would you do?
I know, so I was thinking about that anyways, as we were generating these starter pack ideas. And I guess this is selfishly why I like this idea so much, is because I feel like this is what I want to do all the time, right? This is me running every street of Jackson and learning about the Underground Railroad and which routes are the best, and um, how city streets are marked, and all of the stuff that I'm learning.
In case you are not aware, Alaina is currently running every
Oh,
street in
sorry.
the city that we live in of Jackson, which is 11 square miles. And we're finding it's going to be a couple 100-mile project.
Yeah. So, and that's just, like, I just decided, not because it was a passion project, but I am passionate about it now, and I have learned so much as a result of it. So that would be one. I love reading young adult fiction. And so I think another cool passion project would be to read different young adult fiction, or I should say, young adult fiction set in different time periods, and to do like a review or a podcast of some sort of those books. Talking about maybe like the style elements of the writing, but also the history. Not sure how I would work the science in there, but that's why I would need my academic advisor to help me, because I love reading. And I love being active. Maybe I would make a series of workout videos, or a coaching plan for people who wanted to run a 5K race for the first time. And I could market it. And so we're letting students do more than one as well, if it is looking to be impossible to work in all 10 standards for one, because that's a big
word.
That's a pretty daunting task. I think it will be possible for some of them, but I think others, our verb is chunkify. We're helping students to chunkify as much as possible. So we're thinking about, like, we have a lot of students with 504s who we do that with anyways in our classrooms. When we have kind of a big project or a big assignment, we help them get started, right? We scaffold it a little bit more for them, and we're approaching this as if all students have that in their 504. So chunkify. So if it's 10 different projects, cool. Like, maybe that's what it needs to be for that student. But ideally, we're hoping that it should be, if something's of interest, you should be able to at least cover a few, no problem. And it shouldn't seem like a lot of work. It should actually maybe be kind of fun and easy.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they make. I'm excited to see, like, I know there's some kids in the school who are really good at video editing, and I want to see what they do when you just kind of like give them the freedom to be awesome. I'm excited. What else do you want to talk about? We don't have a list.
No, we don't have a list.
Anything else on your mind?
Well, I think we all miss our students, so I'm trying to think of ways that I can, in a non-academic nature, just still connect with my students.
What about a Zoom show and tell with high schoolers? It worked really well in 5th grade. They could show you their pets. No, you think that would be?
No, I think we could do that.
Do you think it would not be cool though?
No, I think it'd be fine.
I can never teach those big, tall people.
They would like that. I think the challenge with high school is that if it's not, for a lot of them, if it's not mandatory, then it's not that they don't want to do it or they have a bad attitude. I feel like a lot of times we give high schoolers crap. Like, if it's not mandatory, they're not going to do it. Well, of course not. Like, none of us are. Like, that's really hard for any of us to do things that we don't love that aren't mandatory. So I don't know. I get a little upset sometimes when people paint high schoolers like that. But
I mean, they paint them like the exact people that they were when they were probably in high school too.
Or like that we all are, realistically,
yeah,
know.
For sure.
I don't think that says anything bad about them. I have done a couple Zooms with some seniors. I think I've talked about that. I had an Instagram account that I kind of stopped using this year, and I got that going up today, and man, that caught on right away. So I just did like a quick video. I have a 20-gallon aquarium in my classroom this year for the first time. I have class pets, and it's full of 9-cent goldfish from PetSmart, and they've made it the whole year.
Like all of them almost.
And my students, like, it's crazy how these 15 to 18-year-olds love these 9 cent goldfish. So I just did like a little video saying, hey, and showing them that the goldfish were okay, and put it on Instagram. And uh, that has been the most successful thing that I've done up to this point to get some back and forth from students.
Because the kids want us. They don't want a video of like other people teaching them. And I know that that's not always possible. I know that we can't all, have that. I know that some districts are requiring certain things and everything to be the same in some ways, but our kids want us.
Yeah.
Like, this did not happen September 3rd when they were getting to know who we were. Like, this happened in Michigan, March 13th. They had us for 135 or so days. Like, they want us. And so for them to be able to see you and see you talking means the world. I have loved experiencing you call your students, because they're definitely not expecting that after 4 weeks off, and like you talking to the mom or the dad or the caregiver, and then they say, do you want to talk to Johnny? And then Johnny gets the phone. It's like, Mrs. Sharp. I can't hear Johnny, but I can picture what Johnny's or whomever is saying. And I love that. I have talked on the phone more to parents in the last couple of weeks, and I make plenty of phone calls than I usually do in like a school year.
Yeah.
Like, I am like 2 minutes before dinner today, it was like talking to a mom. And yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I was laughing because I woke. It was like 1 o'clock, people, and like his dad was like, "Here, I'll talk to you." Hello. I'm like, "Hey, it's your favorite teacher." I'm like, oh. Anyways, I want to be really careful too, because even though like we're excited and we've decided at Western that this is what we're going to do, I don't want to make it sound like we're passing judgment on anyone. Right now, it's all about what's best for your students and what's best for you at your district. If that means you're checking in and giving 2 assignments a week, and some of them have to be on Khan Academy because you're shuffling 6 different preps, dude.
And you got 5 kids, and you got 5 kids at home trying
respect, to learn. Right? This is not a one size fit all deal. It never will be. We need to be gracious and kind with each other. We need to be gracious and kind to our own children's teachers.
And our own children. No tears tomorrow. Goal for day 2. No tears.
Yes.
Did all of our children cry at one point? Because Harvey,
nope. Harvey always cries
because he got destroyed by the 5-year-old.
Cries every day. I think Hobbs is the only one that didn't cry, but there were 3 academic related
tears.
He
didn't cry because we didn't make him do any school.
Who?
Hobbs. He may have.
I made him do some school
at dinner.
No, he did a flip grid today.
Oh, that's right.
And he loved it.
Don't
listen to Colby. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Making his stuff and things. So.
Yeah. So be kind to each other and be gracious. We're all in beta mode right now. Period.
Yeah.
So.
Stay safe. Stay home. Enjoy your meals that you're having. I'm sure the same meals all the time.
Oh my gosh. Please help us. We have the same thing all the time, and I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, so if you're still watching, if you made it to this far, the
you
live
probably
or later
didn't.
on, drop a menu choices in the comments.
I'm sorry.
Or just send us a meal.
Can you make it vegetarian friendly? Because we have a vegetarian, and we have Hobbs, who basically just eats tortillas and cheese.
And our 13-year-old eats all the food, all of it, all the time he's eating. So yeah, just let us know your favorite recipes and favorite things that are easy that you can actually get at the grocery store that are vegetarian friendly and picky eater friendly. A lot of mac and cheese, a lot of grilled cheese.
It's not an easy task, people.
But we're doing it because we're lucky enough to be able to do it and to be healthy.
Oh my gosh, so absolutely.
We are definitely feeling very blessed. We've been reading just some of the stats, and I feel like sometimes people are getting a little too excited about where the numbers are going, but like a lot of people are dying every single day. Like, I'm not like really thrilled about like all of the death and all of it's just like we need to calm down and stay home. I don't think we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that we have a long ways to go. So, feeling very blessed to be healthy, and most of the people we know are pretty healthy.
Yeah, I don't know about you all. It's touching us. It's touched our district. It's touched my building. 21 New York City public teachers have died
so far.
Like, yeah. So, yeah.
Got a long ways to go.
We've got a long ways to go. And that being said, too, I think just because we're in beta mode, we will learn and get better as we go, hopefully. So, a lot of front loading for us at the high school, a lot of documents and brainstorming and planning and meetings and Zooms, and especially like what ifs, like what if they were failing third quarter? How can they still pass semester 2? And what if they're taking Michigan virtual classes? And what if they're dual enrolled? And what if they're at the Career Center? And what if they're in 2 AP classes? And a lot of what ifs. And we just decided that we'll start with the big, most important things, and then we'll work out the what ifs. And I think we've done a good job of most of those, but we know that more will come. And we also know that it's not perfect or the right answer.
And we know that stuff is going to go wrong.
For sure. And we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to fall on our face. And to be frank, there may be dumpster fire days.
Yeah.
And
we'll figure
and
it out.
Then we'll learn from it and go from there. But
yeah, we just got to hang in there. And I think that I'm curious to see how the parents can manage to keep doing this for the next 8 weeks. Like, I don't want them to just be done, because I've been reading lots of what other people have said, and I've heard parents were all in and trying, and then after a while, I was listening to the Daily New York Times podcast today, and they were interviewing different people and how this has affected them, and they were interviewing this woman whose husband is a medical worker, so he's working a lot, and she is a paralegal working from home, and it was just chaos in the background, like screaming and crying, and then the guy interviewing her obviously isn't used to interviewing people in this situation. And hey, it's Bailey from my class, Bailey, and what was it? Oh, and she's like, oh, the day's going great. And this guy's like, what are you talking about? It's crazy. She's like, no, it's great. There's less crying and less tears, and everything is going great. So parents, thank you. If anyone has a parent that's a teacher or a parent that is just some reason watching this, we know that your job is your life has been turned upside down like everyone else's. So hang in there. We're trying to do the best we can as teachers, and we're going to try to make this as valuable as possible.
Colby was, I was just going through the comments. A lot of people asked a very valid question, which is about arts and other electives in the thread. And absolutely, one thing that we wanted to, especially at Western High School, we have an outstanding music program and foreign language program. And we have an outstanding industrial arts and technology engineering program. So our electives are very important. And we also feel as a staff that students take electives for a reason, mostly because they want to be in those classes. So on that note.
That's my principal who commented that.
Well, there were others too. Yes, that is one of our categories. So not only can students include those electives in their projects, they must include at least one from the elective category. And because there's 10 for most students, only 5 must come, one from each category. The other 5 can come from any category. I'm a hand talker, I'm sorry. So what that means is that there could be a student whose project is very deeply rooted in their passion, which might be in playing their instrument or something that's jazz band related or music. And up to 6 of those standards could be from performing arts. And then the 4 cores could just be worked into that somehow. So yes, we wanted to honor our programs that are excellent at Western, as well as our elective teachers who are amazing. and our students who we know that is where their passion lies. Like for many of my students, they don't come to school to see me in chemistry. They come to school to go to select choir at the end of the day or jazz band in the middle of the day. Like that is their highlight. That's their people. That's their thing. And we're not respecting students if we don't allow them. If this is truly student driven and passion interest driven, we have to honor those things. So yes, we're very proud that is a requirement of the project, regardless of if they're currently enrolled in any of those classes or not, because again, they're worded in a way that is so broad that this should be for any student graduating Western High School. We want to be able to do these things.
And these are things that we want kids to be able to do, not because like these are the things that we want kids to be able to do in life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one that I'm really excited about is the social studies department came up with this one. The Victory Gardens that I think they said was a World War II thing, plant your Victory Gardens. And so then they said plan out your own garden for what's going on now and compare it to like the what and the why of the Victory Gardens in World War II. Plan it, budget it, design it. I already said budget. Figure out which plants could go by which and why, what kind of light they would need and that kind of stuff. So much like biodiversity and plant science in there. That would be a rockin' project. I'd be excited about that.
Anything else?
I could talk for days. I probably shouldn't.
No, that's good. So our devices are all dying because I don't know what's going on, but we have all these kids trying to do school, and our kids feel the need to Zoom call for like 3 hours with their friends. So we don't know where the devices are half the time. Nothing is ever charged, ever. And we're just trying to survive. So we are going to go and hang out, or are we just going to pass out? We will figure that out. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you are distance learning or distance teaching, thank you for what you're doing. If you're a parent, whether you're a teacher and a parent or just a parent and another job, thank you for helping us because we can't do this alone. It takes a village, and together I think we can figure this out and springboard our kids so that they're as ready as possible for next year, but more importantly, that they're feeling safe and loved and cared for during this really scary and weird time in their lives. So thank you so much. I'm Colby Sharp.
I'm Alaina.
And we are going to hang out. So thank you so much for tuning in. See ya. Bye.
Bye.